Let's get right into it. Number 10, public bathrooms. For most of human civilization, when nature called, you answered without opening your wallet. Public restrooms were just part of being a decent society. Then in the early 1900s, someone in Europe had a brilliant idea. They installed coin-operated locks on bathroom stalls and called them pay toilets. The first ones appeared in London around 1851, but they really took off in the 1960s in America. Suddenly, you had to pay a dime just to use the bathroom. That's right. A basic human need became a business opportunity. People were outraged. The American Restroom Association, yes, that's a real thing, called it discriminatory. They argued it was especially unfair to women since urinals remained free while stalls cost money. Students started protesting with signs like Committee to End Pay Toilets in America. By the 1970s, most U.S. states banned pay toilets entirely. But Europe never got the memo. Today, you'll still find pay toilets across European cities, charging anywhere from 50 cents to €2. Some even have attendants sitting there, making you feel guilty if you don't tip. We literally pay money to do something we physically cannot avoid doing. Number 9, directory assistance. Remember when you could just dial 411 and get any phone number for free? It was like having a human Google before Google existed. Phone companies provided this as a basic service. You paid for your phone line, and directory assistance came with it. But in the 1980s, AT&T realized they were sitting on a gold mine. They started charging for 411 calls, initially just 25 cents. Other phone companies watched and thought, why are we doing this for free? Within a few years, everyone was charging. That 25 cents climbed to 50 cents, then $1, and now some carriers charge up to $3.999 per call. $3.99 to have someone read you a phone number that takes 20 seconds. Meanwhile, the actual cost to the phone company for providing this service? Less than 10 cents per call. But here's the kicker. By the time everyone started charging big money for 411, smartphones and the internet made the whole thing obsolete, and you can now Google any business number in seconds. So phone companies monetized a service right before it became irrelevant. They squeezed every last dollar out of something that was about to die anyway. It's like charging people to rent DVDs right before Netflix took over. Number 8, carry-on luggage. You thought checked bag fees were bad? Airlines looked at that success and thought bigger, or actually smaller. They went after your carry-on bags. For decades, carry-on luggage was your escape hatch from baggage fees. You could pack smart, keep everything with you, and avoid those charges. But budget airlines like Spirit and Frontier saw an opportunity. Starting around 2010, they began charging for carry-on bags that go in the overhead bin. Spirit Airlines was the pioneer here, launching their system in 2010. They'd advertise insanely cheap flights, like $19 from New York to Florida. But that was just the base fare. Want to bring a normal-sized carry-on? That's $35 to $65, depending on when you pay. A personal item that fits under the seat? That's still free. But that regular carry-on you've used for 20 years? Now it costs more than some people's entire plane ticket used to cost. Other airlines noticed people weren't rioting in the streets, so they followed suit. Today, basic economy fares on major airlines often exclude overhead bin access. You're literally paying extra for the privilege of bringing your stuff on vacation. And these fees aren't small change. In 2022, U.S. airlines collected over $700 million just from carry-on bag fees. They took something that was free since the invention of overhead bins and turned it into a profit center worth more than the GDP of some small nations. Number 7, customer service phone calls. There was a time when calling a company's customer service was just part of doing business. You bought their product, something went wrong, and you called them. Simple, no charge. But then companies discovered they could charge you for the privilege of complaining to them. It started in the tech industry during the late 1990s. Companies like Microsoft began charging for phone support after the warranty period ended. Want to talk to someone about why your software crashed? That'll be $35 per call, or you could buy an annual support plan for $99. Other industries jumped on board. Some appliance companies now charge to talk to a repair technician. Banks charge for speaking to a human instead of using automated systems. Premium rate phone numbers became the norm, where calling customer service costs you money per minute. In the UK, some companies used Euro 870 numbers that cost callers up to 10 pence per minute, while the company got a kickback from those charges. They were literally profiting from your complaints. Consumer protection groups caught on, and regulations eventually limited the practice. But the damage was done. Companies learned they could make customer service so expensive and inconvenient that people would give up. Today, they hide phone numbers entirely, burying them under layers of FAQs and chatbots. They turned "how can we help you" into "how can we avoid helping you while charging you for the attempt?" Number 6. Online bill-paying convenience fees. In the 1990s, companies promised us a future of paperless billing. It would save trees, reduce costs, and make life easier. Everyone wins, right? Then someone realized they could charge you for the convenience of giving them money electronically. Credit card companies led the charge. They started adding convenience fees for paying online, typically $5 to $10 per transaction. Think about that logic. You're doing the work for them by entering your own payment information, eliminating their need to process a check or handle cash, and they're charging you extra for it. It's like a restaurant charging you more if you bus your own table. Utility companies joined in. Electric companies, water companies, even landlords started charging convenience fees for online payments. Some charge a flat fee, others take a percentage. The average convenience fee is around 2.5% to 3% of your payment. That doesn't sound like much until you're paying a $2,000 rent payment and getting hit with a $60 convenience fee. These companies save money on every electronic transaction. No paper, no postage, no staff, manually processing checks. By some estimates, it costs companies 26 cents to process a paper check, but only 5 cents to process an electronic payment. So they save 21 cents per transaction and charge you $5 for the privilege. The math doesn't math. In 2020, Americans paid an estimated $5.7 billion in convenience fees. That's $5.7 billion paid for the convenience of making corporations' lives easier. Number 5. Movie theater seat selection. Remember when you bought a movie ticket and just sat wherever you wanted? First come, first served. Show up early for good seats, show up late, and sit in the front row with a sore neck. It was fair. Then around 2013, theaters discovered they could charge you extra based on where you sit. They called it premium seating or reserved seating. AMC Theaters pioneered this with their sight and sound pricing strategy. Seats in the middle of the theater, which have the best viewing angles, now cost more. We're talking $2 to $5 extra per seat. Meanwhile, the seats in the front rows that nobody wants, those actually got cheaper. Sounds fair until you realize the entire pricing model is based on charging more for something that used to be free. The middle seats didn't get better. They were always the best seats. The theater didn't improve them or add features. They just realized they could charge more for them because people prefer them. It's like a restaurant charging extra for tables near the window that were always there. The practice spread quickly. Now most major chains have dynamic pricing for seats. Some theaters even have luxury recliners that cost $20 to $25 per seat. That's before you buy the $40 worth of popcorn and soda. A night at the movies for a family of 4 can easily hit $150 once you factor in premium seating, snacks, and convenience fees for buying tickets online. Going to the movies used to be affordable entertainment. Now it requires a small business loan. Number 4. Printer ink subscriptions. Printer companies have been ripping people off with expensive ink cartridges for decades. The printers are cheap, but the ink costs more per ounce than human blood. Literally, human blood costs about $1,500 per gallon. Printer ink can cost up to $12,000 per gallon, but printer companies looked at this model and thought they could do worse. Enter ink subscriptions. HP launched their Instant Ink program in 2013. Instead of buying cartridges when you need them, you pay a monthly fee based on how many pages you print. Sounds reasonable until you read the fine print. The ink cartridges they send you are electronically locked to your subscription. If you cancel your subscription or miss a payment, the ink cartridges you already have stop working. You physically possess ink. It's sitting in your printer, but HP remotely disables it. It's like buying groceries, putting them in your fridge, and having the supermarket lock your fridge because you didn't renew your grocery membership. Even better, if you don't print enough pages in a month, you lose those pages. They don't roll over. And if you print more than your plan allows, you get charged extra or your printer stops working until the next billing cycle. They turned printing into a hostage situation. Epson, Canon, and Brother saw HP's success and launched similar programs. Now we're not just buying expensive ink, we're renting the ability to use ink we already paid for. The subscription model makes printer companies an estimated $4 billion annually. They took an already predatory business model and somehow made it worse. Number 3, early boarding on flights. Boarding an airplane used to be simple. They'd call rows from back to front, everyone would board, and off you'd go. Maybe first class boarded first, but everyone else was equal. Then airlines discovered they could sell you the privilege of sitting on the plane longer. Southwest Airlines started it in 2007 with early bird check-in. For $15 to $25, you could board earlier and get better seat selection. Other airlines noticed and created elaborate boarding hierarchies. Now we have 9 different boarding groups, each with their own requirements and fees. Delta has Comfort Plus boarding. United has Premier Access. American has Priority boarding. They've created a class system at 30,000 feet. Want to board in Group 2 instead of Group 5? That'll be $30 to $75 depending on the flight. You're paying money to stand in a different line and sit down first. You're not getting there any faster. The plane leaves at the same time regardless of when you board. You're literally paying to spend more time sitting in a narrow seat, breathing recycled air. The psychology is brilliant, though. They make regular boarding so miserable, cramming everyone into tiny groups, that paying for early boarding feels necessary. Overhead bin space runs out, so if you don't board early, your bag gets gate checked. They created the problem and sold the solution. Airlines make hundreds of millions annually from early boarding fees. We're paying extra to participate in the same experience that used to be standard. It's like paying extra to get your meal first at a buffet. Number 2, online event ticket fees. In 1994, Ticketmaster started adding service charges to ticket purchases. These fees were meant to cover the cost of processing your order and maintaining their system. Fair enough. Then something happened. Those fees stopped being about covering costs and started being pure profit. Today's ticket fees are absolutely insane. You'll see a concert ticket listed at $50, add it to your cart, and suddenly it's $73. Where'd that extra $23 come from? Service fees, convenience fees, facility charges, processing fees, and delivery fees. Sometimes there's even a fee to print your own tickets at home. You're paying them to let you use your own ink and paper. Ticketmaster and Live Nation merged in 2010, creating a near monopoly on ticket sales. Without competition, fees skyrocketed. Some tickets now have fees that exceed 50% of the ticket's face value. A $30 ticket becomes $47 after fees. You're paying more in fees than many people pay for their entire concert ticket used to cost. Artists have spoken out about this. Pearl Jam famously fought Ticketmaster in the 1990s. Taylor Swift's ticket sale disaster in 2022 brought new scrutiny. But nothing changed. In 2022, Ticketmaster collected an estimated $1.5 billion just in fees. Not ticket sales, just fees. They charge you to buy a ticket, charge you to use their website, charge you to receive the ticket, and sometimes charge you to resell the ticket if you can't go. They've monetized every single step of buying a piece of paper that says you can attend an event. And you can't go anywhere else because they have exclusive contracts with most major venues.
Number 1, checking your bank account balance. This one takes the cake. There was a time when you could check your bank account balance without paying a fee. It's your money. Of course, you should be able to see how much you have. But in the early 2000s, banks started charging for balance inquiries. Use an out-of-network ATM to check your balance? That's $2 to $3. Call the automated phone line too many times. Fee, check your balance at a teller? Some banks charged for that too. Bank of America tried implementing a policy where checking your balance at an out-of-network ATM would cost you even if you didn't withdraw money. You put in your card, check your balance, and get charged $2 for looking at your own information. Citibank and Chase followed suit. They were charging you to view data about your own money sitting in their bank. It's like paying a landlord to tell you whether you still live in your apartment. The justification was that it cost money to maintain ATM networks and customer service lines. But here's the thing. Banks make massive profits from holding your money. They use your deposits to make loans and investments. They're already making money from you. Charging you to check your balance is just extra. Customer backlash was intense. Elizabeth Warren called out banks for gotcha fees during her Senate hearings. Some regulations passed limiting certain fees, but many banks still charge for balance inquiries in specific situations. They'll waive the fee if you maintain a minimum balance, which means poor people pay to check their money, while rich people get it free. The average American pays about $200 per year in various bank fees. Much of that comes from checking balances, using out-of-network ATMs, and overdraft fees that happen because people couldn't check their balance without paying a fee. Banks made approximately $11 billion from ATM fees alone in 2019. A significant portion came from balance inquiry fees. They monetized the basic human need to know whether you can afford groceries. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos soon. Subscribe to see them.